India has over 60 unicorns, and today on Startup Central, we have a date with the 27th unicorn. That is Lenskart. Lenskart has recently been in the news for a massive fundraise. In the last couple of months, it has raised over $300 million. Joining us from Lenskart, the big boss, Peyush Bansal. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us here. You've gone in for this massive fundraise spree the last couple of months, over $300 million. Can I ask you, Peyush, what do you plan to do with all of this money?
So, I think, Nayantara, we started Lenskart with a, vision to transform, the vision of the world. And I still think that we are still on day one in a lot of sense. If I look at, I know in some sense we have come a long way, and I was in fact writing an article for internal team a few days back, and I was just reflecting back and saying, while we have come a long way, it still feels like day zero, particularly from where the eyewear category is globally and even in India. And, we still have almost 350 million people without a pair of specs in India who need one right now. That's a large number. That's about a third of the population. So what we'll use this money is largely to invest in technology, supply chain. We are building this massive facility, which will make the largest number of spectacles ever made by a manufacturing unit in the world. So we'll be making about 150,000 spectacles a day. When I say spectacles, it's the frame, lenses, prescription, all coming together in a single facility that is coming up. So I think a large part of our investment is going there. Less is technology. We are working towards technologies that will allow you to do vision correction, checking your eye power more easily, more affordably, trying glasses online, creating micro-entrepreneurs, building technology to create micro-entrepreneurs. What has happened, the Ola, Uber model, how can we bring that to eyewear? Because we need to solve these problems of access, awareness, affordability, all three. Right. So I think large part of our capital just continues to go in there. And we are very sure that if we continue to stay put on the focus, we'll be able to transform the world.
Okay, that's really interesting that, you also want to enter manufacturing, create a gig economy, the way Ola, Uber, Zomato, all these companies have. How will you exactly do that with eyewear?
So I think there are three pieces, right? One is, how do we create high quality pair of spectacles made in India? And that too at the cost at which people can really enjoy the best quality, the best fashion. So I think that's where the supply chain angle comes. And that doesn't exist in India today. The whole supply chain, from manufacturing of frames to lenses to putting them together. And second is, now once you have that supply, how do you get it to reach to every nook and corner? So while one would have online, one would have shops, but then comes the home service, then comes your pharmacy chain, and there are all these channels which exist. And if we can take eyewear, think of it like mobile phones, right? Mobile phones are today available online at a nearby shop, at a small mobile shop. Somebody can deliver it to your home. If you look at diagnostics in India, today you can get a blood test done right at your doorstep. And there are so many providers that exist today. I think in the same manner, if you want an eye test, we come to your house, we already do that. And we want to just take that to a completely different level, show you, check your eyes, allow you to make an order and deliver those spectacles to you. And, and now then there are models like social commerce, and one of the new models that is emerging is call, right? We're getting about 5,000 calls a day of people who want to order their glasses on the phone. I just call, hi Lenscart, I'm looking for a pair of glasses. Can you assist me? This is my old prescription. So I think this is how you bring access. You take it to the every last, and because the problem is large, right? 350 million people.
So that's really interesting. And so by when do you see all these three pieces come together? And how can it be scaled up? Like when you, and I know, you guys work with Excel sheets, you have your plans in place and things like that. So if it all comes together, how many jobs can you create, or how many micro-entrepreneurs do you think you can create?
I mean, currently we are already about 6,000 people put together. I think this number will go to about 60,000 people, right, over the next 5 years or so. And that is the kind of deficit eyewear has. And we have just started our journey of a massive ramp up. I think all these years we have been working towards creating an ecosystem where eyewear can be made simply and easily, just like mobile phones in that context. Because in a mobile phone, you just buy and sell, a third party person. In eyewear, unfortunately, you can't do that. So we need to create the technology and simplicity that somebody can just buy and sell eyewear. So I think a lot of that is ready now, and we are just ramping up. We are opening like 400 stores this year. We are adding a bunch of agents on the ground who can come to your house. We have about almost 1,000 people attending calls and doing this. So I think that ramp up has sort of started. In the next 5 to 6 years, we think that we'll be able to make a big dent in an impact, I would say, in the state at which this problem is today in India, of vision correction.
Okay. Now I know, Peyush, that you folks at Lenscart are building for India and have ambitions to also build for the world. You said that the $315 million fundraise will also be used for global expansion. Tell us more about that.
So, what we have seen is that the kind of revolution and transformation that has happened in India in this category is quite unique to the world. There is nowhere else in the world where a new age eyewear company, which is using the new methods of technology, affordability, direct to consumer, is sort of going and improving the whole availability of eyewear. Everywhere else in the world, it's still the traditional way, and that gives us an opportunity to, because this transformation is going to happen. I mean, globally, there are about 4.5 billion people who need a pair of specs. Only about 50% of them have a pair of specs today. And the problem is that today, the large part of the market is controlled by players who sell eyewear very expensive. They have many, many middlemen in the process. They do not have the new age products. They do not have the new age experiences. So if you look at any other category, you look at apparel, right? We have gone from the ages of Benetton, Zara, H&M, D2C brands, and even the buying experiences of these. Even in shoes today, so much has happened. But when you look at eyewear, we're still buying those old age products. We don't have innovation. We don't have access. The experience of buying is not the same. If you break a pair of specs and you take it to an optician, they'll most likely tell you that this is because of you. Whereas if you just shift gears and move to any other category, the whole experience has changed. So I think we see there's a huge opportunity in this category, not in just India, globally. And I think we have somehow been lucky enough, or we have done some things right for this transformation to happen in India. And in India, eyewear has totally transformed. If you just look at the way people are buying eyewear, an average consumer of ours is buying about 4 to 5 spectacles a year right now. And that wasn't this number a little while back. So we think that, we can start thinking about a larger vision of transforming not just the vision of India, but a vision of the world. And that's how this whole thing it wasn't our initial thought, but I think the opportunity is there and the problem is there.
Now, Peyush, you're opening a store in New York City, the Big Apple. You clearly have plans as far as the United States go, Southeast Asia, Middle East. But if we could just begin with North America. The point is that with eyewear, unless, it's totally for casual, the market is very different from India. It's simply because of the way healthcare works in America, the way you've got insurance. Your insurance policy determines how expensive or how cheap your eyewear is going to be. How are you going to navigate through all of that? Because, you did try to disrupt the eyewear market in India. Now, with those entry price points in America, might be difficult just because of the way things are there.
Yeah. Firstly, I want to clarify, we are not opening a store yet. We may open one. We are first opening an office in New York. We're launching our online platform in New York. But we will get there. We will get there eventually. I think consumers are pretty much, same all across the world, Nayantara. I think it's just that today, if I look at consumers today, what eyewear is allowing them to do in their lives is very limited. I just get amazed with where, how different categories of products are making your lives better today. You have a running shoe, you have a walking shoe, then you have party shoes. But when you look at eyewear, there's this just huge gap. If I want to go mountain climbing, I want to go skiing, I want to go to office, I want to just be a gamer, there is no other there's no one else in the world who's thinking about how can we make lives of people better with eyewear. So I think with that premise, and not necessarily the premise of, okay, we will be cheaper or this will be, I think there is a huge opportunity today to improve lives of people with eyewear. And I think that opportunity exists in US as much as it exists in India, right? They do not, the consumers there do not have choice. They're again, just like India, buying from the traditional places, not because they want to, but because they just do not have choice. And I think Lenscart will be able to bring for them eyewear experiences, which will allow them to do a lot more with their lives, right? And I think that's the whole theme. Now we'll figure rest of the piece out, and I think we do have a lot of technology. We do have some great people, but fundamentally the gap exists, and we think we have the pieces together to be able to do it. I mean, I'll give you just simple stats, right?
So,
we have about
like you do a
100,000.
parallel.
Yeah, I'll give you simple stats, right? We have 100,000 people who come on the Lenscart app, and this is, I'm talking about an eyewear website, on a Lenscart app, and virtually try their glasses every day. 100,000 people in an eyewear category. Even in the most evolved markets in the world, this number would not even cross 10,000 a day, right? So I think the way people see this category, whether it's in India or even in America, has been very different. But I think there is, the consumers today are looking for better eyewear experiences and better eyewear products.
Are you going to also try and improve that virtual experience?
Yes. And we are. We have just launched in India a beta version of a AR tool, which totally changes the game. You don't have to do your 2-minute video anymore. It just goes on and you can start trying glasses. It has AI recommendation engine. So it starts recommending your first 10 styles that you'll see. You'll happen to like something. And we are doing a lot more work around it. So yes, we are working very aggressively on these. And these are things that are going to transform that experience and want to make consumers buy more and more and do more and more with their eyewear.
You told me that you've got about 1 lakh people visiting the app, and what is the conversion rate?
So these are lakh people who are just doing a virtual trial, right? Every day. This is not lakh people visiting are more. But overall, out of the people that visit Lenscart, about over north of 10% people end up buying from us. But let me just tell you this, right?
So while you're building in India,
when you buy clothes today,
it's a very big number.
Yeah, but when you buy clothes today, it's okay to do window shopping, right? Somehow it was not okay to do window shopping in eyewear. I mean, Lenscart has made that possible. Today I won't say we have the highest, conversion, but what I would say is that we have the highest visitor base, and then we have the highest number of orders. For me, it's not the most important number that everybody who comes to us has to buy. For me, it's important that everybody who comes to us is exploring, getting inspired to do something new, to explore their individuality, to I think that is what is pending in this category. I mean, the way you go about your shoes, I don't think every time you walk into a shoe store, you want to buy a pair of shoes. You just walk in and you try, and if you like something, you buy. That's where we are trying to take eyewear to. That's the excitement, your dad has.
When it comes to trying on eyewear, you're talking about using AI, no 2-minute video, can tell you in real time, recommend, all of that. Will you then go slow on the offline retail expansion?
See, the way we look at things is not necessarily online, offline. The way we look at things is that we want to transform the way people are using eyewear and in their lives, right? And for that purpose of ours, it's not so important. Yes, online is the biggest sort of fuel in technology overall, in allowing people to explore, to embrace, to enjoy all of that. So I won't say that, you can choose the kind of impact we want to make. If we want to touch like 50% of the world's population through Lenscart, then we got to be present omnichannel. Because, even 10 years from now, maybe 20% of the world's population is buying online. But what I definitely know, 10 years from now, 100% of the world population will be online. So you could get online influenced, but you could still transact. It's like if you want to buy an iPhone, you're not saying that, okay, I'll only buy it at Flipkart or Amazon. I won't go to an Apple store. You would buy where you want to buy it. What matters is the impact that is having on your life. So I think that's how we look at things. So, which is why for us in our strategy, it's not so much about whether it will be store or this or that. It's more important in what is the consumer benefit we are driving.
Now, we're running out of time, Peyush. So before I let you go, thanks so much for bringing us up to speed with Lenscart, how you're bringing it, trying to disrupt this entire space. I'm going to ask a very basic question, which might seem silly, but, we're just spending a lot more time looking at screens, right? Whether you're an adult or whether you're a child who's attending school virtually. Will get glasses. Have to use anti-glares if you're smart. But power to lagegi, right? The way they say it. So in that sense, however sad might be, you must have benefited from that phenomenon.
I think, look, overall, the myopia rate in Asia is growing. Like if you go to Southeast Asia, more than 50-60% of the people, even to the tune of 70% people are myopic now, right? I think, yes, spending more time on screens, etc., is increasing the myopia rate. This is not just in COVID or anything. This was happening. Maybe COVID has accelerated it a bit. New technologies have come in the picture beyond anti-glare, so people are now using Blu-ray protection glasses which block these digital rays. You also see that on the phone, a blue screen protector a lot of times. I won't use the word benefited. I think this was anyways going to happen. I mean, our lives are becoming digital. If you look at the global trends, we think over the next 10 years, almost 60-70% of the world would become myopic, right? And so yes, the need of glasses is growing rapidly. I think more than that, there is a big need for glasses today, but the awareness is low. You'll be surprised that only 25% of the people who need glasses in India wear glasses. So 75% people who have a vision problem, even in urban India today, if you go, we have done camps, right? When you do driver camps and you scan all the drivers who are driving all these cars and, all the home services, 30% of them have a vision correction problem. And almost 1% of them could have very, very fatal vision issues. Which makes them unfit for driving. And so I think, yes, I mean, the problem is there and we are there to solve it and make it more accessible.
And Peyush, the customary question we have to ask all founders, especially unicorn founders, and like I said, you're the 27th unicorn of India. IPO, where are you planning to IPO anytime soon?
Well, I think the markets are definitely encouraging right now. We have a lot to do right now. I think over the next 24 months, likely, we are more focused towards what we want to achieve. I think it should happen over the next 18 months, I think, likely. But yeah, I mean, but we are not stopping pre or post IPO. I think our purpose is above all of this.
You're not being chased by bankers telling you how much you're actually worth and you should be tapping the capital markets?
Yeah, I mean, that happens. But, I think for entrepreneurs and for companies like us, which have a very solid purpose, for us, it's more important to create value for our consumers and our employees and our, and then rest of it, it just happens on its own. I think it's not, honestly, I don't think it's our job as entrepreneurs or even our team to determine value of the company. The more we chase that, the lesser we would be creating value. I think if we can just focus on our consumers and employees and create value for them, the market will keep determining and valuing us. And then we don't have to be really dependent on whether it's a hot market or a big market or a slow market. I think great companies are great no matter what.
And with that, Peyush, we'd like to thank you for joining us today on Startup Central. Look forward to more interviews in the near future.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.